hello, 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 hello. Hello. I know it's late. Hopefully, this is short. We're going to flip a coin. If it's heads, it's Aries. If it's tails, it's Aquarius. I mean, Bixby is going to flip the coin because I only have two left. But anyway, I was at work today and I was thinking about why it's so important for us to really realize sort of like where we are and to get an honest look and have an honest approach. It's because it makes me think of alchemy, or it made me think of alchemy. And I think the Alchemist was the second till Sunday. But alchemy is like it's the process of turning one metal into another, right? So we're trying to be alchemists, we're like manifestors and co-creators or whatever. But it's like we're trying to turn lead into gold, but we're working with copper. Or our metal is like nickel. Or we're starting with a gas that we have to like solidify and then alchemize or whatever, right? And so it's like, I don't know. We're trying to add 5 to 20 to get 50. And 5 plus 20 is 25. You know what I mean? So anyway, that was it. So then I was thinking about, oh, we could look at The Alchemist or Temperance. And I was going to look at Temperance in a few decks. And then I was like, oh. So I'll pull the Double Muse, Prime Muse, Double Major Tarot. I'm going to get hopefully a major or a court card. We're going to look and see what's around the other one. And then I'll pull that card in another deck depending on what it is. And we'll go from there. Hi, Bixby. Flip a coin.
All right, here comes the flip. Tails it is.
So it's Aquarius. Aries is going to be last. Wow. There we go. Okay. Let me put that on here so I know that next time I'll finish with Aries. And that'll be 12 signs complete. A series of live reads. How do I? That's a good question. I did Libra first. I knew I did Libra. I just scrolled up on my note. I did Libra first in the series. I was like, I feel like I've done Libra. But I guess it was scrolled down to Capricorn. But yeah, I did Libra before Capricorn. And so that would have been, I can search really quick and see. Uh, 2021. No, it was this year. Right? Let's see. There's Virgo. Yeah, Libra. I did Libra on the 4th of July. There you go. What you changes you. I knew it because it popped up. I was like, wait, Libra got this. Yeah. I did Libra on the 4th of July. Libra kicked it off. Whew, excuse me. Okay, so Aquarius. How are you doing, Holly? Well, like 5 majors. 3 majors just fell out. But the star is the first one. Oh, look. It's Aries in the Emperor and Aquarius in the star. I had a thought of reading the last 2 signs at the same time. And they both came out here, but I don't think I would do this for the signs. So maybe I'll stick with that. I'll figure out how to read Aries and Aquarius at the same time. They'll get like a joint thing. And then I'll do the Alchemist thing. Okay. There we go. Ooh, same. Same. I'm so tired. I overslept today. Why did I type Aries? I didn't even type Aquarius. That's nice. Now I gotta figure out how to read. Oh, I just closed the sticky note. Oof. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All right. So I'll do the two of those together. I'm gonna shuffle this. I really want to pull. And I'll look before and after both Alchemists. Oops, both Temperance cards. Well, maybe not. Maybe we'll just do general today. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm tired of cards falling on the float. Is that Judgment? No, the Tower. In reverse. I think that was the only card that fell. I got the Tower in reverse. No! Wait. Wait. Ah. Yeah. Is that today? Man, today was double star day at Starbucks. And I missed it. I completely forgot. Um, Maybe I should do Aquarius then. The Fool in the Tower. Oof, well. Sorry. Oh, man. It's the Fool that is like in the water. So, yeah. And the Tower was in reverse when I picked it up. But I guess that's interesting because I guess the thing is, right, when sometimes when we try to alchemize or transmute or whatever, we're not looking at the situation through the lens of truth, through the lens of honesty. And so what ends up happening is we get like a partial transformation or something. It doesn't work out properly because we're treating it as if it were something else. The first thing about learning to alchemize anything is to see the truth of what it is in every single facet, because that's the only way. Like, how can you do something if you don't even know what base materials you're working with? You know what I mean? Who's at the bottom? The Hierophant, the board Hierophant. Okay, well, we'll see. I just got into it one summer on campus because we had dining dollars, which was like campus money. And I didn't really use the campus money. And I found out I could use the campus money at Starbucks. And some other people I worked with went to Starbucks and they had a matcha lemonade drink one summer. It was like one of their summer drinks. And that's what got me into Starbucks. And then I'll get like the breakfast sandwiches. I mean, it is kind of overpriced. The matcha lemonade is pretty good most of the time. But like the cake pops and stuff like that, they're overpriced. But I enjoy it. The Page of Cups with the board Hierophant. And the Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Let's get into our temperances. What am I going to pull? I know in the tarot, the one I mentioned earlier, that temperance card has an alchemist in it. Pull it from the top. Oh, snap. So we got the title card, the title card, the Knight of Wands, and the Page of Swords as the first three cards off the top. It's interesting that this is it's a curious Knight of Wands, but there's no movement here. Like the horse is gone in that direction. He's just looking. Typically the Knight of Wands is a Knight of Action, and it's a pretty quick one. The Page of Swords is looking in the same direction as this Knight of Wands. This title card has a bunch of copyright stuff on it. The copyright title card. Copyright title card is interesting because the title card for me is usually a card of live life and find out for whatever reason. But with it being copywritten, it feels like it's information that is known, but it's withheld. And so the Knight of Wands hits a block because the information is copywritten. And then the Page of Swords is curiosity. The Page of Swords feels like it's trying to like glean whatever information it can, even through like the copyright. A copyright, especially when we're talking about alchemy, I guess it could be like maybe there are certain practices or there's certain knowledge or information that's withheld by a certain group of people or organization or whatever. And it feels like maybe the Page of Swords is like trying to get the information that they have. But I would assume that you wouldn't need, like, I would assume that the universe would provide enough context for you to get the information. Like, you wouldn't need to go to a specific person to get it. And then there's our Aquarius again. With their tower. Who am I looking for? Temperance. Oh, here's our first temperance. Oof. First temperance is in between the Chariot and the Devil. Oh, I like this Devil card. They got him on the chain. They broke free. But this Chariot isn't going anywhere. I wonder if this Chariot doesn't need to go anywhere, though. You can see the camera. There's the camera. On the tripod. See how the lion's just like sitting there? I don't know. It feels like it's already accomplished. And then this is the temperance with both feet in the water, looking up at the butterfly. So this is an accomplished alchemist. It's the one that has overcome whatever they need to overcome within themselves with this devil card. And it's like they're tapped into the strength of who they are. And they can utilize and activate that strength when they need it, but when they don't, like, it feels like it's perfectly fine just sort of being there. It's interesting because it feels more like a flow energy. Because the Chariot isn't moving, but the lion, like, it feels like the strength is found, but the Chariot isn't moving. It's like it can if it wanted to or if it needed to. It's an alchemist that's in a state of allowing rather than in a state of manipulating, which is interesting because, usually when we think of alchemy or alchemizing something, it's an active process of like actively changing something or trying to change something. This is the alchemist that realized that everything that they need to change is within themselves. There's nothing outside of themselves that needs to be changed. And because those changes are made inside, the outside will naturally correspond. The outside will naturally follow like laws of correspondence and change accordingly. And maybe that's what this is about. It's like, again, that change has already happened and occurred. The angel has already done whatever with the water that it needs to do. And so now it's just sitting waiting for that change to sort of pass by or come through in its environment. What's really interesting about this energy, though, is that alchemist, it feels like without reaching that state, it could be really easy to like overdo things because it's like it's not seeing some result in the time that it expects to see the result. So it continues like working and working and working and working and working. And meanwhile, maybe in the process, like the thing has to sit for 2 hours before the color changes. And this is the alchemist that'll let it set for that 2 hours to see the color change. But it feels like in the energy of alchemy, it can be really easy for someone to like think that the reaction failed. So they'll keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again. And they never let it sit for the amount of time it needs to sit. So they never get the result. And then it's like, well, what am I doing wrong? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, and it turns into a whole snowball of a lot of stuff. And it's like nothing is necessarily wrong. It's just like you need time for the world to catch up. And I had a thought I can't remember. Oh, that's what it was. It was like sometimes it's as below, so above, right? And we do something in the below or the within, and then a change corresponds in the without or in the above. Um, or it determines like what energies we have access to in the above, what potentialities or what realm of potential we find ourselves in the above. So Alchemist number 1 is good. Where's Alchemist 2? Oh, there it is. Almost skipped it. The second one is in between the Queen of Wands and the Strength card. I'm trying to I'm trying to gauge the face of this lion. It looks kind of annoyed to me. It's like, when is she gonna stop touching me? And then this person is hands off. They're like, oh, the lion will get up whenever it feels like it. There's no need to rush. I mean, their faces aren't too dissimilar. So we're gonna use a little bit of knowledge here of the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is often depicted with having a black cat sort of by her side. And that can be things in the vein of like she is comfortable with her shadow, or she's comfortable with the things that other people might be insecure about. So you can't use her insecurities or weaknesses against her. She puts it out there on display, and like she owns it. She has a healthy relationship with it. But this Queen of Wands is like tending to the sunflowers. It feels like this Queen of Wands only engages in what is light and like what is happy or what feels good. Which is fine. But that mastery of self is missing. That comfortability with self is missing. That's the Queen of Wands who would have a meltdown and just, it feels like throw like everything off at the slightest hint of like that black cat. She's very superstitious, I guess. Superstition is an interesting energy when it comes to the topic of alchemy. I see this crown in the back of this temperance card. I'm like, is that the queen's crown? And I'm looking at her crown. I'm like, is her crown a doily? Maybe not. Oh, look. They're almost postured in a very similar way. The sunflowers and the lion. But there's no sun here. Like there's the sunflower. Okay. Queen of Swords. The Page of Cups is at the bottom of the deck. The one with the fish out of the cup. The fish jumped out of the cup. They said, "This is not the water for me." Queen of Swords was behind the Queen of Wands. And then this Hierophant is on the other side of Strength. This is the second Hierophant. So this Alchemist is more about appearances. This is the Gilded Alchemist. Well, it is the Gilded Alchemist, but there's almost like a level of superficiality here. And it's superficial because of its depth. It's not necessarily superficial because of like vanity or something like that. But like it's gilded instead of golden. It's like that alchemist can only transmute or transform or change something outside of itself as much as it's done within itself. And this is a Queen of Wands who's afraid to acknowledge, see, or embrace her shadow, which is like literally what the Queen of Wands is known for. But she doesn't do that. So that's what tells me like it's superficial. It's like it's surface level or it goes barely beneath the surface. And so the amount of gold, like if you start with a ball of lead, like it'll have a gold surface. It's gilded. Now this one, the one who's completely gone in, like again, the devil's on the chain now. Masculine and feminine together, integrated and free. Chariot ready to move whenever. Strength like fully unlocked, fully on board, and because of that, it can flow. It can actually like live in the creation without having to or needing to constantly change it. Like that's the one that can transform that entire ball of lead into gold. Because that's the amount of work that it's done within itself on both sides, masculine and feminine. So that's both in its like introspection, thinking, feeling like connections, and its actions, the way it goes about implementing things, and like the other side of connection. What's interesting is though, like the lion is the same. But this one could get the lion to move if it wanted. That lion ain't going nowhere. I don't know if that. It's almost like that lion doesn't respect the person, and it feels like all the flowers and stuff. It's like decoration. It's something to put in the environment, or it's something to put. It's like you put it around you outside, hoping that like it'll like go inside, like look good on the outside to feel great on the inside, instead of like it being like an inward out sort of radiance. It tries to create it outside so that it'll like come in, which is why like again she's tending to all these sunflowers. It's superficial. So where am I gonna go with this? Queen of Wands, and then strength. I'm trying to think of like the Queen of Wands and Strength cards are the decks that I have. Honestly, my brain is like not cooperating. So I'm just going to grab the Astro Matrix Tarot. Well, I'm going to try to grab the Astro Matrix Tarot. Because I was looking at it. No, maybe I didn't dream about this deck. I don't know. Maybe I was just looking at it. It's been on my mind to use. So I'll look before and after both the Queen of Wands and Strength to clarify here. And then I guess I can look before and after the Devil to clarify on the other one. I've been listening to a lot of oldies at work. I'm going to put these all upright. Actually, no, I won't. We'll keep reversals in here. Why not? For now, let's get some reversals up in these pieces. So we're going to do all four of them. The Devil, the Chariot, Strength, and the Queen of Wands. That was was that Leo season? To be golden, not gilded? Or it was like golden, not gilded. I wonder what Virgo season's going to bring. I want to do that too. All right. Cut that. I'm going to pull these from the bottom. Oh, look at that. 8 of Pentacles. 8 of Pentacles in reverse. 7 of Pentacles in reverse. 7 of Swords in reverse. At the bottom of the deck. See, it feels like the 7 of Swords in reverse. It's the original, not the original sin. Or maybe it's a misstep. Or maybe there was something that was overlooked. There's something that was overlooked. And then it's like we're cultivating, we're growing, we're trying to establish a foundation that is like abundant, or we're trying to establish a foundation that is suitable for the energy of abundance, right? Trying to make sure we have fertile ground so no matter what we plant, it's going to grow, basically. And then the 8 of Pentacles is like it's continuing to build off of that. But all of this work is being done with this initial, original oversight, misunderstanding, or whatever. So there's something that's not accounted for before any of this. So it's almost like doomed to fail. It's like, oh my gosh, I forgot plants need sunlight. And we built our garden in a cave that gets no light. And it's like, well, if it's a rock garden, maybe you'll get some crystals. Maybe you'll get some crystals to grow in the cave. I don't know. Stalagmites, stalactites. It's like there's something that's needed that's missing. Oh my gosh. Look at this. 7 of Pentacles, 7 of Swords, 7 of Cups in reverse. The 7 of Cups, that's the corruptor. I already talked about it. But I had that thought again of like the war in Angelarium being like it was the first time or the first few times that one of the deadly sins won out over. It's like either one of the 7 deadly sins or like fear or whatever. It's one of the first times that something won out over the good within a person. So maybe it was like the first time somebody was so jealous that they stole from somebody else, or the first time someone was so whatever that they ended someone else's life. And it's like there should be enough good within a person that they would second think that within themselves and they would work through all of that rather than to do the thing and hurt, harm, danger, endanger, or take from another. And that's when it was like, oh, snap. With free will and with choice, they might do anything to anybody. But then we still sort of, I don't know, expect for the wheel of fortune and justice continue to work in our favor. But that was the corruptor in the Seven of Cups. In the SKT, every cup is tied to a different one of the seven deadly sins. So, but the Six of Swords was coming out of that, and whatever reading that was when I used the SKT. Oh, look, there's our star and our hermit. Both upright. Anyway, let me go look and find. Hold up, wait. The Devil, the Chariot, Strength, and the Queen of Wands. Okay. Ooh, some of these are in reverse. It's making this a little challenging. Are all of these cards going to be like together? Because I ain't seen a single one, and I am well into this deck. Here's the Devil. The Devil is in reverse with the Five of Swords in reverse and the Two of Cups in reverse. I'm going to put those there. The Queen of Wands is coming out with the Six of Wands upright and the Page of Pentacles upright. See, where's her? There's her black cat that she's usually showing me. I need what? Strength and the Chariot. I'm like, I got a handful of cards left. Here's Strength. Oh, okay. So Strength has the King of Cups upright with the Chariot in reverse. On the other side of the Chariot in reverse is the Four of Cups upright. So how we do this? I guess I'll just put this one up here. And then there's like literally 3 cards left. The Moon in reverse, the Ten of Swords in reverse, and the Knight of Swords in reverse. I'll save those for after to see where this goes. Okay. So let's move these over here. So both like Strength and the Queen of Wands are upright. And I think the other two are in reverse. Yeah, the Devil is in reverse and the Chariot is in reverse. Devil being in well, both of those energies make sense. With the Devil in reverse, this is a dynamic. Oops, there goes my mouse. This is a dynamic that's been turned on its head. Right? Because now they're sitting up top and the Devil is chained up. So with the Devil in reverse, this dynamic has been thrown in reverse. The Five of Swords and the Two of Cups. That feels like withdrawing energy. The Chariot in reverse, that's the Chariot that's in a state of flow. So it's more or less still right now. So that's why the Chariot is in reverse. Now, the Six of Wands and the Page of Pentacles. This was our superficial queen. The one who only tends to the sunflowers and doesn't take care of, her shadow. But it doesn't feel like. So it feels like these are things that the queen seeks recognition for in order to like build something. I almost wonder if her motivations are right though. And her motivations being literally the things that motivate her. Because this is a queen that isn't like, this is the Queen of Wands that's not actually confident. This is the Queen of Wands that doesn't know herself or isn't as strong in the foundation of herself and in her authenticity as a Queen of Wands typically is, because of the absence of the black cat, because she wants to be seen a certain type of way. And that's why I almost wonder if, because again, like the Seven of Swords was there at the Seven of Swords in reverse, Seven of Pentacles in reverse, Eight of Pentacles in reverse. So there's a lot of energy. It's like good energy. The Seven of Pentacles is cultivating, nurturing. The Eight of Pentacles is putting the time in needed for something to really like mature. Eight of Pentacles is in pursuit of mastery. But in this situation with this Queen of Wands, it's like, it feels like everything that she does is done out of an insecurity. Like that's the energy of the Six of Wands, Page of Pentacles. King of Cups with the Chariot in reverse. See, this lion looks a lot happier. Different deck. These are just signifiers. Those cards don't matter. But we can see what these relationships could be. King of Cups upright, Chariot in reverse. So it feels like the Chariot in reverse is alluding to maybe that other Chariot energy. Or it could be. Or there could only be one card, and that's all I take. Because like both my signifiers were right next to each other. Or this is like the bridge between those two energies again. This is interesting. Because this King of Cups, it feels like there's almost like an emotional detachment. And again, it's interesting because up here, that same energy came out of like a detachment with the Five of Swords in reverse and the Two of Cups in reverse. It's almost like just knowing where your energy, knowing where not to put your energy, basically. And it feels like this King of Cups is trying to do the same thing, or the King of Cups is doing the same thing. But it's different. And with the fish leaping out of the water, I almost wonder if it's an environment not suitable for the fish. It's like the fish would jump out of their tanks or bowls if they could, but they're literally in the ocean. So, you know. But it feels like it's about like emotional control. It's a very fragile queen. And again, it's like the Queen of Wands isn't usually this fragile, but the Queen of Wands is usually different because of the black cat that's right there next to her. And it's like because of her relationship with her shadow, because of her relationship with herself, because she can love and accept herself fully, deeply, and like every part of herself, the area around her becomes naturally, it's like it naturally gives rise to the sunflowers. So it's not anything that has to be tended to or taken care of. Right? You don't have to pay attention to the sunflowers just grow. You pay attention to your relationship, your dynamic with yourself. And when you're in your full, when the Queen of Wands is in her full authenticity, that's what makes her so wildly magnetic and attractive to everything around her. That's what brings everything in. That's her magic. Her magic lies in her relationship with herself. But this Queen of Wands, again, it's like she's trying to get everything. It's almost like she might see another Queen of Wands and like notice the sunflowers. And so she tends to the sunflowers to try to make herself like look like all the other Queens of Wands. But that's the Seven of Swords in reverse misunderstanding. That's the misconception. The misconception is it's not her environment, it's her. It comes from within her. And that's another misconception here. It's like it's not about being cold or emotionally distant or whatever. Like that's not the reason why the Five of Swords and the Two of Cups are here. The Five of Swords and the Two of Cups are here with the Devil in reverse. So like we're not giving the situations or investing energy basically in like energy sinks or in areas where it's not going to be reciprocated. Right? Two of Cups in reverse. If it's not reciprocated, Five of Swords, you cut it off. And it might be a little cold sometimes or whatever, but it's like there's only so much that you can do in any situation. And that's like literally this because the chariot isn't going anywhere. There's only so much you can do. And when it's time for you to act or when it's time for you to move, you can move. And you can wait and not be bothered by like, oh, well, what is this person going to think? Or like, you can wait and not be bothered by external opinions or an internal sort of anxiety because there's a knowing here. And maybe that's what this Four of Cups is signifying. Because she's literally sitting there at the tree waiting until the divine brings this cup to her. Because of that knowing that's within her. And she knows that as long as she stays in this place, that will bring that to her. As long as she keeps herself positioned to receive it when it's on its way, she'll get it. There's like nothing pressing her. There's no urgent whatever. There's nothing that she has to sort of like make up for. No appearance that she has to withhold. And this is an energy that wouldn't be able to do that. It's almost like recognition from other people sustains that queen as much as anything. And again, it's like with that Seven of Swords misconception, the Queen of Wands is like just like everybody loves her. She's wildly magnetic, attractive, charismatic. She has it. And so like people give it to her. She gets it. It's not about trying to go out and do the thing that will get you that, thinking that eventually, like if you get enough of that, then eventually you'll become something else. Like that's not how it works. Yeah, I'll put the chariot in reverse up here. Chariot on the chariot. So these two only get the one coin. And it's funny because then with the chariot in reverse, if it is clarifying this, it feels like it's an energy that becomes stuck. Again, it's almost like from the outside, some of this might look similar. But the thing about the alchemists is that they don't work on the outside typically. Typically, they work on the inside, and then they allow universal law to translate all of that internal work into an external occurrence. And maybe that's what the moon in reverse, the Ten of Swords in reverse, and the Knight of Reverse is about. Or the Knight of Swords in reverse is about. It's almost like not seeing something clearly, going through certain processes, or subjecting oneself to something, thinking that it's going to bring something that it never does. With this Knight of Swords in reverse, it has all of the movement of the Knight of Swords, but none of the clarity. Because it's like if this was upright, or like the other alchemists would realize that with the moon in reverse, like this is when this is an internal, this is the internal realm with the moon. This is something within the self. With the Ten of Swords, it's something within the self that is in need of transformation, or it's on the verge of transformation. And when that thing is transformed, when that blockage is cleared, that opens up room for the Knight of Swords to move, or it gives the Knight of Swords some kind of clarity that the pain, trauma, whatever was keeping from their grasp. So this is all internal. And this is the movement after the transformation of that thing. But from the outside, it almost looks like, oh, well, it's like some super, like almost mystical, mysterious thing. And like, if you do this and you do that and you give this up, or if you go through this, then it'll just happen. And it's like, no. So that's this. What was that? What else was in that reading? To be golden, not gilded. They say we can only connect with others as deeply as we connect to ourselves, or we only see or know as much outside of ourselves as much as we know within ourselves. And that first one, that's the one that did it. Literally flipped the relationship on devil energy on its head. Realize that the chariot isn't just about movement. The chariot does more than just like move. The chariot doesn't move without reason, purpose, or cause. It's not just moving for the sake of moving. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say like the weird thing is, but like it feels like the energy of an alchemist is one that will naturally push one towards like themselves. It'll naturally open one up deeper and deeper to themselves. But again, like with this energy, it's not, it's not an energy that's comfortable with itself. It's like the type of person that doesn't want to be alone with their thoughts, or can't sit like in silence or something like that. They get uncomfortable with themselves because of everything. And again, it's understandable. But it's like if the energy of alchemy is it manifests whatever is internal to you, to try to sit in a space of an alchemist or a manifester or whatever, and to have all of that going on in the internal and to not resolve it, is to in some ways actively manifest then that into your external reality. And then it's almost like it would get that alchemist to try to work even harder to manifest something different. And it almost becomes like this semi-vicious like feedback loop, because the energy of alchemist itself, it's inside out. It radiates outward. So it's going to keep pushing you back inward. But this is the one that wants to escape themselves. But they'll put up an appearance or facade. And then it's almost like I don't even, again, it's like I don't even know if it's necessarily about like the facade or about the appearance, or if it's just like that's what that person would see as like success. And so that's what they go for, because that's the successful alchemist. It's the one that has like the stuff, or the one that can do whatever outside. But it's like, no, the successful alchemist is the one who can like manage all that inside. And because they do it inside, natural law that the alchemist would know about manifests that, ripples that, reflects that outside of them. So it's like, don't like, not to discredit the alchemist in any way, because they know and they utilize all them laws and stuff, I'm sure. But the alchemist has to know like where they can sort of make what changes, and they know how to use correspondences of like as above, so below, as within, so without. And so like that's stuff that they would know how to sort of work with more intimately. But again, it's like there's a truth of the self, and there's a truth of the situation that needs to be known. Because how else, like, do you know what to change? It's almost like if there's a negative sign in an equation somewhere where it shouldn't be, it's like no matter how much math you do to try to sort of make it work, if you don't catch where that negative is, it'll never flip into the positive. It also feels like this alchemist would be able to position themselves. It's interesting because it feels like, and I don't know if it's an I Ching that I read or where that's coming from, but the first alchemist feels like one that can position themselves to either like receive something in the environment, or they can position themselves to like block or halt or slow something in the external environment. Let's get final cards, and I'm gonna put these all up right. As I do that, see, that's why it's like some people be like, oh, if you find a person and you mimic everything that they do, eventually you'll get the success that they get. And it's like, it's not necessarily true, because you might not be working with what they were working with, or you might not be working with what they are working with either. Like you might be starting in a completely different area from a completely different perspective. And so what they do like balances them out and puts them in a space to receive, or to be able to receive, or to be able to do whatever. It might not necessarily work the same for other people, because they might not necessarily need that balancer, that counterbalancer, that weight, right? Like if I'm 10 pounds shy of something, then I'm going to put on 10 extra, I'm going to put on enough layers to make up for that 10 pounds so I can ride the ride or whatever, right? But, if you 10 pounds over, you putting on an extra 10 pounds isn't going to help. It might just make you feel more sluggish. And then you might be too heavy for the ride. I probably could have used height instead of weight, but you get what I mean? Maybe that's Virgo season energy. I'm like low-key excited for Virgo season. I don't fully know why. But I got the notification last night from some app that the sun was in Virgo. I was like, ooh, I'm excited. And I almost wanted to like pull out a table of elements and be like, if we start with this metal, and to get it to gold, we add this many protons. And I think I wanted to do that. I wanted to like pull cards and see how many like protons, neutrons, and electrons there is in a situation, to see like what element it would be, or to see like what the balance of charges sort of was, and how reactive it would be, or how unstable or stable it would be. But yeah, it's like if you add what, I think gold is right after silver, I think. So if you add one proton, neutron, and electron to gold, or to silver, you get gold. If you add one to carbon, you get what, nitrogen? Is it nitrogen? Nitrogen is 14. I think carbon is 12. Or is nitrogen? Oxygen is 16. What's next to carbon? I don't think it is nitrogen. I'm pretty sure nitrogen is 14. Carbon is 12. Oxygen is 16. I don't know. I wanted to use the table of elements in some kind of way. And be like, we're getting exactly what we're sort of. It's like all the stuff is right. We're just. All the stuff could be right. We're just like not taking into account, like, where we actually are, where we're actually starting. So we do ourselves a disservice when we do that, and then it's possible that we only lead ourselves to further frustration and disappointment or upsetness or whatever. And then, it's not the divine, and it's not necessarily a process. It's just sometimes we don't have clarity because of the things that we actively refuse to acknowledge. Oh, snap. She came back out. This is the healthy Queen of Wands. In the bottom of the deck is the Page of Pentacles. It's like the Page of Wands gets Pentacles. She doesn't have to. I don't want to say she doesn't have to give them. But with this being the Page, it's like, again, it's like her energy, her and her authenticity serves as the foundation for the thing. This is the foundation, like it's the Page of Pentacles. It's the first entry into the Court of Pentacles, right? Knight of Swords, Queen of Cups, Five of Cups. Oh, look at that turtle. And of course, they're all up right now because I put everything up right. That was another thing I noticed too. I didn't talk about it. The little goat. I was like, what is the goat? Like, I see it, but like, what is it hooked up to? Like, it's not tied to the fence. Oh, she got lions on her throne. Like the chariot and the strength card. The other one had some kind of cat. It almost looked like statues of. Like, this is what she had. She got house cats. This is giving house cat energy. She trying to play with lions with house cat energy. Like, yeah, they're all felines and maybe they act similarly, but there's a difference between like a tiger, a puma, a panther, a jaguar, and like a tabby cat or a sphinx or a calico. Like, it requires big cat energy. House cats get eaten alive. And then it's like, no wonder why she might feel like she's in over her head. I think it's okay, like, to be where we are. Okay. Double majors. Final card, please. I feel like my posture is terrible. I don't know why I'm like, sometimes I'll randomly get conscious of my poor posture. Ooh, temperance. It's a process, it's a journey. We get there step by step. Bottom of the deck is the King of Swords. This, okay, so I was thinking about That's So Raven earlier. And how my brain was on cartoons today, or old TV shows, I guess. I was thinking about, oh, that's something else I was gonna do. How the Queen of Swords, or how the Queen of Cups is like feminine high priestess energy, and the King of Swords is masculine high priestess energy. It's like the Queen of Cups sees the result, sees the outcome. And sometimes, if the Queen of Cups sees a certain result or outcome, she might feel like she doesn't have to do anything because she already saw the result. The King of Swords sees like the process. He might not necessarily see the outcome, but he'll see like the process. And in his mind, like it makes logical sense. Like one thing will lead to another, to another, to another. And so sometimes where our intuition in a very Queen of Cups way might get us in trouble is like if we see a certain process or a certain result, or if we get confirmation that like something good is going to happen, and like that's all we sort of take, if we don't do the things that we need to do to ensure that that potential outcome becomes our reality, then it can pass us by, and then maybe we feel whatever way we feel about that. But the King of Swords again is the one that can see the steps. So it's like, okay, well, like if I want that to be my actual reality, I need to do this, do that, and do the other thing. And when they work together, we get a more complete picture. But when we only have one of them, you know, we don't get that more complete picture. But I thought about that earlier today. Manganese is the 25th element on the periodic table. Oh, snap. And it burns purple? I think manganese burns purple, right? Or you throw like magnesium oxide into a fire or something and it'll burn purple? I don't know. Oh. So, we know that the other temperance card is waiting on the butterfly that signifies the change. Look at the throne of the King of Swords. It's all these butterflies, but they almost look like clouds. They look very like smoky. So I don't know if he's done the thing yet. Oh, snap. Well, here's the. So it's the King of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. And that's the other Knight of Pentacles. That Knight of Pentacles is moving. It's almost like his horse is a hound, and he had the horse sniff the pinnacle, and then it's like, all right, now take me to, I don't know. There's a lot of movement in this Knight of Pentacles. I think so too. because it looks like the harness is coming off of the leash thing is coming off of the horse. So I think the Knight of Pentacles is like loosening the reins. There's something that the Knight of Pentacles needs to like stop being so meticulous about. Or there's something that like the Knight of Pentacles needs to loosen up control over. And with this Temperance card, I almost wonder if it's like the divine spirit universe is about to take something in a certain direction. And so that's why the Knight of Pentacles needs to like let go of the reins for that movement to happen. And so the King of Swords would need to be focused on like the big picture, like the things that matter, in the big picture. And as long as nothing is being compromised, then I feel like it would be okay for the King of Swords to let go to the flow. Because whatever it's moving, it's like the momentum, it's like it's going to slip into some kind of stream, or there's a stream that's going to pass by it and it's going to be able to pick up a lot of momentum. Maybe faster than this person is ready for, because it's the Knight of Pentacles. Sometimes we go slow. Sometimes like we're being careful when we're that slow with the Knight of Pentacles. Sometimes there's a lot of hesitation and resistance within us. And that's us like baby stepping. But I feel like it's time to leap. I want to see which Fool I'll see first. I'm just curious. Oh, this one. Okay. Yeah, that's sleep. Let me keep going and see if I didn't miss the other one. The other one was the one that was like drowning. Or not drowning, but was in the water. Yeah. Literally at the top of the deck. Last card. But I feel like it's almost like with this temperance, because this is an active temperance energy. So it's almost like even if we fall in the water, temperance will pull the waves to get us where we're going. Either way, it's like there's a release of control. It feels like there's a release of control that needs to happen. The first Alchemist will allow it. The second one would not. It feels like it's not in a space to let things just happen because it's so invested in things sort of happening in a certain way because of whatever that means. And again, it's like a lot of times when we're in that kind of energy, like there's a reason. And a lot of times it's not great. I don't think people are walking around with something to prove because they had awesome whatever, like every experience they've ever had has been awesome. You know what I mean? Usually if someone's out there with something to prove, it's motivated by something. But that was earlier, right? Something about motivations. Was that the Queen of Wands? Or was I just talking at that point? When it was like what motivates us, like the reason behind why we do the things that we do. Right? Like, do I think that if I accumulate a lot of money, then that means that I'm worth whatever? Am I tying my self-worth to the number of dollars that I receive? And so if I make less money, or if I stop making money, then all of a sudden, like, I'm worthless. You know what I mean? Or am I going out and trying to do something to prove to somebody that I, like, they missed out, they could have had all this or whatever? Meanwhile, like, they're living their, like, own life. You know what I mean? Like the first Alchemist, it's self-motivated. And it's not like selfish. And it's not that it's like it only cares about itself, but like it's almost like there's no pretense, but that's because they don't need anything outside of themselves to validate anything or to compensate for anything. That alchemist knows who they are. And so if they can handle being still and they can handle a period of lack or whatever it looks like on the outside, they can handle it because they know it'll move. Or they know that it's like there for a reason, and what they get from the external outside, they can work with within themselves to change it. Anyway, thanks for being here, Holly. I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting on it to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that I don't know. It's like sometimes I do these and I'm very aware that like we as people don't get to certain places like just because. You know what I mean? Like more often than not, it's because something happens. And it's because something happens that we do our best to deal with. And not everything can be faced so easily, but at the same time, it's like when there are certain things are available, or if one of the things that we want is like some kind of like freedom or whatever, like to be in a space of freedom or to have that be your reality or like sovereignty or whatever, then that means like you're like if you're manifesting or calling for sovereignty and freedom and all kinds of stuff like that in your life, you're also calling for you to work through everything that makes you not that. Every trauma, every trigger, everything that keeps you from being 100% present in every single moment, you're going to have to work through. You can't be sovereign or free if you get triggered at every single thing. And now you're making choices and decisions based off of something that happened years ago. Like, where's the freedom in that? You're still bound by your past. You're still bound by your trauma. And again, like kind of sort of with that second alchemist, the more you call for that sovereignty, the more you're sort of calling in the energy of facing the things that you actively try to avoid. So sometimes in that way we work against ourselves. And I'm not telling anybody like I don't it's just information. It's just my perspective and opinion. I don't think we should necessarily stay stuck, but if that's why things are so difficult, it's like that's what we're asking for. Like I said, my word for 2021 was unbelievable. To have a truly unbelievable year, I would have had to do things that I would never have even imagined or dreamed of doing. I would have had to be more courageous and brave and strong than I had ever been in my life to make a year unbelievable. That's what I was asking for. That's what I was calling for. I'm just glad that in those times where I had to be whatever, I was number one of the mind to do whatever I needed to do, and number two, I guess I'm definitely glad I had the support system that I have to encourage me in making those choices, because there were some points last year where it was hard. But like I said, I want everything. I want everything, and I'm willing to do whatever I got to do to get it. Because the life I had before, I'm not interested in going back. It's like nothing. There's nothing back there for me. Um, And the life I have right now, I'm content here, but this isn't it for me. Like, I want more. And not necessarily like more monetarily. The more that I want, I feel it's like something more aligned to something that I'm passionate about, something that I feel gives me purpose. And like having my own space, being able to have a room where I can like go live and have actual like space to like lay stuff out. You know what I mean? Rather than this 5 by 5. I don't even no. This isn't even 5 by 5. This ain't 5 feet because that's 5 rulers. That's not 5 rulers. Anyway, like we ask for all that. We manifest all that. If that's what you call yourself, if that's like with this age of Aquarius that so many people were talking about for so long, to get to the age of Aquarius from where we were means that everything that wasn't age of Aquarius had to come to the light and needed to be addressed. And not only that, but humanity as a collective had to decide that this is something that we're no longer going to do so that we can move forward in a different way. And that doesn't happen by I don't know. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen because who am I to put boundaries, restrictions, and limitations on number one, anybody else? Number two, most definitely the universe. You know, everybody could wake up one day and just be like different. It's possible. I woke up one day and I stopped hating vegetables. Like, I literally woke up one day and didn't hate vegetables. I don't know when it happened. I know I was doing a lot of work over that summer. Maybe I just reached a vibration within myself that was aligned to the high vibration of like vegetables and like live foods or whatever, like vegans eat or whatever. So that's when it happened. I'm sorry. I know I can be a bit much sometimes, but I love me. All right. Again, it's just, I don't know. It's not be mindful, but again, it feels like sometimes we can go so hard for like the result or the end product, or like when we reach out with our intuition, or if we receive something through our intuition, it's like that. But what we don't always necessarily think about is like the steps required to get there. Like if you are who you are, where you are now, and you're aiming for, shooting for, receiving a vision of somebody who's doing something completely different, then at some point something's gonna have to change within you. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes after we sort of make it through the process, it's not necessarily like the things that need to change within us aren't necessarily the things that we would think need to change within us. Like maybe there are 101 different things that you can list out of like, I need to change this and this and this and this and that and all of this other stuff. And at the end of the day, one day you might have an epiphany realization, or you might be on your journeying, and then you realize like it was something completely different. That you were mostly right where you were. It was just like something small that needed to change. So maybe. And it's one of those things, it's like one of those motivations. Like, what motivates you, really? Why do you do the things you do? And what do you think? It's almost like, what do you think the things that you want will get you? What do you think they'll do for you? How will it change you as a person or whatever? I feel like I'm getting on like Rob's wavelength now. You know what I mean? Let's therapize. Is therapize a word? Hey Ariel, how are you doing? Born 8/18. Oh snap! Congratulations. So she was waiting on that Taurus moon. 5:55 p.m. Oof. You ready for that? You ready for that 5:55, baby? You ready for that Taurus moon, baby? Oh, I love the name Isabel. That's gorgeous. How does it feel being not pregnant anymore? What's like the first thing you do when you're not pregnant? Because I know one of my friends, she was talking about, she was like, for Christmas, her husband gave her like a gift certificate to some winery or something like that because she like likes wine. And then for Christmas, she gave him the news that he's going to be a father, so she couldn't even like drink. Sleep on your tummy. Hey. A Leo with a Taurus moon. She got, was anything in Aquarius? What's the other fixed sign? Scorpio? Is anything in Scorpio right now? South Node is in Scorpio. Is she going to be like a big, thick square, maybe? Put your own shoes on. Aquarius rising. What? Triple fixed. Aquarius, Taurus, and Leo. And a 555 baby. She's like, I know who I feel like that's like, I would almost think that could be like low-key indigo energy. Because with all that like 555 change energy, plus all that fixed energy, it's good though. Knowing who you are, not taking crap. If the system has to change, then change the system. I don't know. She's like literally days old. Well, I'm glad to hear you're not overcooked or overbaking anymore. I'm glad baby Isabel, found the perfect time to come into the world. She was, I mean, I feel like first I was like, I could see that being a Virgo, but with her being triple fixed, I could see that being a triple fixed thing too. She's like, oh, no. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I need more than just Leo. I need Taurus in my moon for this. And I want to be an aqua rising because, you know, like, I want to look unique. Anyway, I don't know anything about anything. I don't know anything about anything. Don't listen to me. Don't take it if it don't resonate. Don't listen if you don't want to listen. It's your life. The beautiful thing about you being a fully autonomous being is that you don't have to listen to me. You ain't got to do nothing. But if it ain't working for you and you keep trying to force it, it ain't got to work. You ain't got to listen. It ain't got to work. I'm just playing. Anyway, let me go. It's time for me to go. Again, thank you all for stopping by. So glad to hear the news, Ariel. Get some rest, girl, if you can. I don't even know if you can. Because my friend, she was telling me, she was like, I got to like pump every 2 hours, or like she eat every X amount of hours so I don't get no sleep. And then I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, goodness. Woo, hopefully you get some rest, though. I'm sure you will, hopefully. I'm hoping you get some rest. Enjoy sleeping on your stomach and drinking all the iced coffee you want. I don't know if you have an iced coffee thing, but my co-worker did. She was like, oh, I can only have so much caffeine. So we got like iced coffees when she was done being pregnant, I think. And then she left like a few weeks after. Anyway, it's fine. All right, I'll catch y'all later. I hope y'all have a good whenever you see this. I hope you are acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that like I don't want to say I hope you get some sense, but I hope that when an opportunity arises to get you a little closer to where you want to be / where you're going, I hope you can see it as the opportunity that it is. And if it's an opportunity for you to take, I hope you the discernment, courage, and guidance and support that you need to take it. I feel comfortable with that. All right. I'll catch y'all next time. I'm going to do something. Aries and Aquarius are going to be together. I don't know how. I'll figure it out at some point, or I'll just come on here and pull cards and hope that it works out. Either could happen.